You want to be a foster parent, but you're not sure what the requirements are for your home. Well, in this episode, we're going to talk all about the requirements of your home. My name is Brian Woodruff. I'm a foster and adoptive parent. I'm the creator of fostercareaction.com. I'm an author of the book, You Think You Want to Be a Foster Parent. So you're ready to be a foster parent, but you're not sure about the requirements of your home. Well, let's start with the biggest one. What is it that you're allowed to live in? So, you're allowed to live in a single family home. You're allowed to live in a condominium, a townhouse, a high-rise. You're allowed to live in an apartment, a double wide, a single wide, a modular home. As long as the home meets the criteria of a single family or multi-family dwelling, it's allowed. Now, that's pretty broad. So there are some things that you're going to have within your home that you'll be required to be able to prove. Now let's talk about what is actually required once you have one of those types of dwellings. So every foster parent must have a home that meets the minimum safety standards. So what are the minimum safety standards? Well, the first is that you'll have to have a fire extinguisher in your home that is an ABC fire extinguisher. Basically, it puts out the three most common types of fire. Second is you'll have to have a smoke detector in every bedroom, one on every floor. Your house may or may not have that now. If it doesn't, you'll have to add them. You can use a battery smoke detector to meet this. I will tell you, if your house was built after 1980, more than likely you're going to meet this code. Another thing that you'll have to have is a GFI receptacle in your kitchen and bathrooms. What is a GFI receptacle? In simple terms, it's a receptacle that turns itself off if an interruption happens. So if you were to drop a hairdryer into the bathtub or something like that, it will trip itself so that you will not get electrocuted. Next big topic is bedrooms. So you will have to have a bedroom for this child to sleep in. Now, the child doesn't have to have its own bedroom, but it does have to have a dedicated bedroom for the child. So the child can share a bedroom with another sibling. Now, there's some rules around that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So what classifies a bedroom? Well, a bedroom has to have a closet. It has to have some form of egress exit. In most cases, that'll be a window. But if you're in a high-rise apartment complex, you may not have operable windows, so it would be a door out. What is an egress window? Well, it's a window large enough that a fire person can climb through the window with a backpack on. Now, there's a lot of rules around that, but I will tell you that if you have a window in your bedroom, it will meet because when your house was built, the rules apply as based on when your house was built. But what you can't do is you just can't go up into your attic, throw some drywall up there and call it a room. The same way as you can't go to your basement and take some wood, build a room and drywall it and call it a room. Now, you can do that, but you'll have to work through your local county building department to make sure that that room meets all the criteria of today's bedroom. That would be smoke detectors, closet, egress, windows, things of that nature. Number of children per room is a big question I'm asked. So that really depends on square footage, and I wish I could give you an exact number, but every state does it a little bit differently. I will tell you that even small rooms, 2 children can share that room, but if it's really small, you probably won't be allowed to have more than 2 children in that same room. But like I told you earlier, there are rules around if a child can stay in the room with another child. And so basically, if a child is 5 years or younger, they can share a room with the opposite sex. Now, that's not true in every state, but in my state, that's true. children over the age of 5, either child over the age of 5, have to be in a room that is the same sex. Another piece with regards to the bedroom is that you cannot displace one of your own children for your foster child. So let me explain what that means. So you can't have your child sleeping in a bedroom and tell that child that because you're getting a foster child, that child now has to sleep on the couch. That's called displacing the child from the bedroom. Now, you can move that child to a different bedroom. That's fine, but you can't not have a bedroom for that child and for your foster child. So just keep that in mind. You will have to have a bed for the child. Now, for where I'm at, you can have a day bed. Some places allow that, some places don't, but you do have to have a bed for the child to sleep in. And it has to be a dedicated bed, meaning you can't have a queen size bed. And even though you have 2 3-year-old boys, they can't share the queen bed. They each have to have their own bed. If you bring in a baby, you'll have to have a crib that meets all today's standards. Basically, you can't have an operable side. And I know that that's a real pain if you're vertically challenged, but those are the rules. If you go to buy a crib now, they don't even make cribs where the side opens and closes anymore. The other piece with regards to a baby is a baby has to have its own room. Now, I know that when we had our children, at least for the first 3 months of that child's life, that child lived in a bassinet in our bedroom. Unfortunately, foster children can't do that. They have to have their own bedroom. So just keep that in mind. If you're thinking, well, I'm going to bring in a baby and I'm just going to put a bassinet or a crib in my room, that's not allowed. At least in our state, may be different in your state. Again, talk to your county or your agency, whoever you're being licensed through, and they can tell you what the rules are with regards to that. But understand that in our state, they can't be in your same room. If you're bringing small children in, you're going to have to childproof your house, meaning you're going to have to put the little plugs in your receptacles, and you might have to put latches on doors and things of that nature. Along with childproofing your home, you're going to have to make sure that your prescription drugs and non-prescription drugs are in a device that the child cannot gain access to. So my wife and I went to Home Depot. We bought a plastic toolbox. We put all of our prescription and non-prescription drugs in it, and then we bought a lock and we locked it and we keep it in our bedroom. And that meets that rule. I know people that have put key locks on their closet, their master closet door. That takes care of it. But the same is true with cleaning supplies. So all of your cleaning supplies will have to be put on a shelf high enough that a child can't reach. Now, every state is different, but basically what we were told is at a height that a 5-year-old can't reach. So, think about it that way. Again, you're going to have to work with your county or your agency to find out what exactly the rules are within your state. But just understand you're going to have to take all your cleaning supplies and put them on a shelf that's high enough that a child can't reach. Along with that, you're also going to have to tools or chemicals or anything like that. So I am an avid remodeler, DIYer kind of guy, and so I have all sorts of remodeling projects that I'm doing all the time. And so I have saws and I have chemicals and I have all sorts of hand tools, and I had to make sure that all of those tools and all of those chemicals, even though they were in our garage, were on a shelf high enough that a child couldn't reach. So just understand, it doesn't apply to just the inside of your home, it applies to the exterior of your home. Moving on to the outside, you're also going to have to look around your property and look to see if you have any hazards that you're going to have to safeguard these children from. So prime example, we have a pool. So we have a fence around our pool, and they have to have special gates and all sorts of rules around that. And just understand that if you have a pool, then you're going to have to meet all the rules of a pool. Now, you're not going to have to do anything more than what the state or the county tells you have to do when you had your pool installed, but understand it's going to have to meet all those rules. If you have a pond or a creek or you have an embankment that falls off really far that if a child walked over would get hurt, you're going to have to probably do something to make sure that there are precautions in place so that a child can't get to that. And I know this sounds like a lot, but I promise you, once you do all this stuff, you do it once, you're done, and then that's it. But just understand there's some hoops that you have to jump through to be a foster parent, and this is just one of those hoops. Firearms. So if you have guns, knives, crossbows, any type of weapon, there are all sorts of rules around weapons. So you're allowed to have them, but just understand you're going to have to do all sorts of things to safeguard them. So if you have guns, this would include a crossbow or things of that nature, they're going to have to be in a locked cabinet. And then the ammo is going to have to be in another locked cabinet separate from the actual firearm or crossbow or whatever it might be. So just know that going in. There are lots of rules around firearms. Again, you can have firearms, just understand that there are lots of rules to make sure that your foster child isn't able to access any of that. There are tons of police officers that are foster parents, and so obviously they have firearms, and again, just you're going to have to get a gun safe, and you're going to have to get another safe to keep your ammo in, and then you'll be good. Pets. So let's talk about pets in your home. So you can have as many pets as you want. We know a foster parent that has 3 dogs, 2 or 3 ferrets, I don't remember, a couple cats, fish. You can have all those things, but understand that they're all going to have vaccinations. So you're going to have to make sure all their vaccinations are up to date. They're going to have to be kid friendly. So obviously a dog or a cat that doesn't bite a child. And again, that's common sense. So again, you can have all of your furry or non-furry friends that you may want, but just understand you're going to have to take some precautions to make sure that your foster children stay safe around those animals. Finally, there will be a home inspection process done at the end of your home study to make sure that you meet all these requirements. I promise you, when they're done with the home study, they're going to find things that you're going to need to improve. You're going to make those simple improvements, and then you're going to be done. Oh, I forgot the most fun thing about being a foster parent in your home. You're going to have to create signage in your home for a tornado evacuation and a fire evacuation, and post that signage on every floor. And I will show you what a detail of that looks like. But that has to be posted again on every floor, and then somewhere in your house has to be a list of all the emergency numbers. So 911, poison control, your foster agency or your county agency, all of those folks and all of those numbers will have to be clearly posted in a place that people can very quickly find that information, so if something happens. So again, one more little hoop to jump through. I will tell you the whole signage thing. When you invite people over and they start looking around and they see them hanging up in your house, you're going to get questions, and you just have to say, we're a commercial facility because we're foster parents, and it's just one of the things we have to do. So those are the rules around your home. I hope this was informative. If you would like more information, please subscribe. I am constantly updating information to help you become the foster parent that you want to be.